Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Lisa Ware, Senior Group Leader. It's the Tuesday Yessave team coaching. And today, this is a little bit of help in regards to what I would call really important admin, relevance, stuff to really help you get over the line with people. So that there's a good old adage, isn't there? Forewarned is forearmed. And right, I'm going to ask everyone to mute because I can hear lots of rustling. So let's mute everybody. There we go.
Please do. I can't find it.
Right, hello everyone. You are there, but I've had to mute you. Right. Very, very often it would seem almost a very difficult thing to get people over the line. It's called um, conversion. In good old sales parlance, it's called conversion. And probably the hardest part of all is actually getting the appointment because we meet people, we talk to people. But I'll tell you why it's the hardest part because they don't know what they don't know. And when you don't know what you don't know, you haven't got an absolute clue as to how brilliant this is. It's a funny old thing that when they see it, very often they change their minds. Now, I'm also going to be saying to you that in my 22 and a half years experience, that the ones that convert the best are face to face. They always will be, and that's because um, it's a lot harder to say no to somebody when you're there with them. And they know you've gone out of your way and made an effort to go and see them. You've travelled, it's been set up. And I think remote is just too easy to get out of. They don't think there's any harm in letting you down in the last 5 minutes when you're meant to be online. They have no respect or value of your time. The fact that you've put everything else aside, you've given up that time, you've probably made sure you're presentable, you've got yourself together, you've probably done quite a bit of work already in regards to finding out things to ensure that this is a worthwhile of your time. And what they don't realize is if they cancel in the last few moments, you can't reassign that time to anything else. So the most important thing you have to do is ensure you consolidate when you make appointments. And consolidation is the most vital part. It's the part that you take the longest on. So, for example, I did a 20K giveaway on no, not on Bank Holiday Monday, Sunday. And it was actually the nearest one we ever do. It was literally 2 miles down the road in the local village. And it only happens every 2 years. And it was a glorious day. Um, so for me, this was like a cinch. And I kept saying to my little team, when you think you've got an appointment, no, you haven't. You've got to actually consolidate it. And that's when you spend your time. And I'm now going to just emphasize this, and then I'm going to go on to some admin stuff. So they've perhaps come up with between you and they might say, I work during the day, it could only be evenings or weekends. And what you've got to do is help that person. Remember, they're a stranger to you. You've got to help that person realize your time is as valuable as theirs. They probably don't realize it, even more so. All right. Isn't everybody's time really valuable? Isn't it the most valuable commodity we have? So I usually say to them, right, so we're talking about, for example, Thursday evening, 7:30. So how do I set the scene with them? Well, if I've got to drive for about half an hour, I'm possibly doing up to, I would say, about 20 miles. That could be a 40-mile round trip. Um, let's give it some value because people don't realise. So first of all, there's fuel, there's your time. that you will have made sure that you've Googled it on Google Maps. So you've worked out the best route to go. You've checked out, is there going to be any hold-ups, any delays? You've probably factored in another 15 minutes at least. Yeah, traffic, all the rest of it. And it's quite a big thing. So I always say to them, just what I've said to you. Well, I'll factor in a bit of travel time, bit of delays, traffic. And what I'm doing is actually relaying to them all the hard work that I'm going to on their behalf. Now, how are you going to give that appointment value? How are you going to emphasize that this is worth their while? There is a great saying you can come up with, and it might be worth writing this down. Okay. Say to them, look, like everyone, I bet you work really hard for your money. Now we've got to stop that money being thrown out the back door because a lot of people do a lot of hours to earn a lot of money. However, they don't look after what's being paid for. And what my job is to come along and show you facts and information about a company that offers the most incredible quality services on a simpler billing platform, and that forevermore you are now going to pay less for. By doing so, I am giving you possibly hundreds of pounds that you've earned, and it won't be thrown out the back door. You are now making them realise this is no simple thing, because I'm going to tell you, every company out there talks about saving money. You don't want to talk about that. If you talk about saving money, you've lost it, because that's what every other company says. You've got to give it some serious value as to what you say that makes them prick their ears, go into high focus, and realise that actually you turning up and bothering to do something for them is going to be worth their while. Because do they really care whether about you? No, of course they don't. It's all about them. Yeah. And so you've got to give that the value that it needs. Now, if you're going to do this remotely, you've got, in my personal opinion, 100% harder job, because you've now got to emphasize that. And they're thinking, well, it doesn't matter. It's only meeting on a screen. So you've got to say those things now. This is being recorded, so hopefully you can play that bit over and over again and write that down, what I've said. Because believe me, I notice people's posture when I say this, what I've just said to them. Their posture changes. I see them all of a sudden realise, oh, actually, this woman knows what she's on about. Actually, yes, I do work hard for my money. Do I really want to give it away? And here's another fantastic saying you can say to really put it in. You can say, if I come along and save you anything between about 500 and let's say £1,200 a year, if you think about that, that's 500 to 1,200. You are actually being overcharged at the moment. How do you feel about that? Because people link into feelings, not facts. Yeah. 500 to 1,200 actually is a lot more than that, because it's money that they are reducing, saving. They're not paying tax and insurance on it. It's worth 35% more. There's another thing you can say to them. Wow, that's true, isn't it? Every single pound we save them, we are saving them 35% more on that pound. If you save them £100, you're saving them really 135. If you save them £1,000 a year, you're saving them 1,350 quid. How long do they have to work for that? Well, I know that most people are not earning that a week. That could be half a month's wages. Do they care about all the effort and time they put into their work? Do they really want to throw it out the back door? You're probably thinking to yourself, my God, Lisa's making a big thing of this. It is a big thing. This is how you keep your appointments. Okay. So what do you do before the appointment? Right. Let's take the premise that you are doing this face to face. So the first thing that I do is I check it out on Google. Now, what do I mean? I put their full address in, press search, and yes, I want to see where they are. Yes, I click start, so I want to know the length, the time of the journey. But there's something better. Google gives us a picture, an actual photograph of where they live. Have a good look at it. Play around. Make sure you've got the house with the number. You can zoom in on this. If you see a house, sorry, I'm going to be very politically incorrect. If I see a house that's got mattresses in the front garden, a broken car and all the rest of it, I'm not bothering to travel for that one because that tells me everything I need to know. So it's letting the tools save you a lot of time. Yeah. So that's the first thing you can do. What's the second thing you can do? Well, you can do a trial, join the club on them. Why not? Jump on your JTC, join the club, trial it out, see what comes out. But before you do that, there's something else you can do. And I'm going to share my screen and show you this. Let me share. I hope this stuff is going to be really useful to you. It should be. Right. Hopefully you all know about Money Supermarket. Okay. So what you can do, I will copy and paste this link so that you've got the right link. You do have to usually give up your own email address. Okay. So let me show you what happens. Now, I've done this because obviously GDPR, I can't put anybody in there of my customers. So this is mine. So I've put my postcode, DT119AJ. I press find. And now we look for us. And we're usually right at the bottom somewhere. Let's have a look. Where are we? I'm looking for Rosemary Cottage. Here we go. Oh, gosh, for a change, we're somewhere near the top. Right, we've got Rosemary Cottage. There you are. That's us. Now, we are gas and electricity. So I've clicked that. Oh, fancy that. It knows we're utility warehouse. So I can now put in what I've got. Well, actually, I think if I'm correct, in fact, let's have a look at my latest bill and it will tell me. Where's my latest bill? That one. Let me do another share. Can everyone see my bill? Oh, I don't need to. Right, let's have a look and see what tariff we're on. I know ours is about to come out. We're UW Fix Saver 23. There we go. So let's have a look. There it is. UW Fixed, but Saver 23. There we go. So then I press see results. Let's see what it comes up with. Switch and save. So it's giving, I have to laugh. We've got no bloody gas. We've got LPG, but the electric is almost spot on. Can you see that, guys? 2,574 kilowatts. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. What I'm laughing at is what they've come up with because they've put gas in there. Did I put gas? Let me have a look. Let me go back one. Maybe it was me. Perhaps I was wrong. Oh, I did. Edit. There we go. I'm just electric. There we are. That's it. Let's get the right one. Fix saver 20.
23.
Okay.
Yes.
Could you keep quiet? So sorry. There we go. Right. That's 2574. Now it says to me £71 a month, 848. Actually, that's not far off. We're paying, I think. What are we paying? We're paying £63. And we're actually almost spot on. So they've slightly overdone it. Don't know why. As it happens, we never pay for it because I've got free energy with UW. It tells me that Eon Next can offer me a saving. Well, actually, I'm already paying less than that. But what is good about this, have it in your mind, write it on a back sheet with you, because in essence, many people struggle to find their own energy bills. So this is a good fallback. It's better than doing the national average info, small, medium, large. I can see Ros. Yeah, this is a much better thing to do. All right. So I'll stop the share. That's a couple of things that you can do. Check it out. Yeah. Now, when you're there, if you're very good at this, you will have heard me over the years say, take a pair of slippers. All right. And you think I'm daft, don't you? I know. But I learned years ago, if you want to get on well, you've got to start with a good start. So open the door, do a good firm handshake, and say to them all, I've got my slippers, I'll put them on. Do you know what? You don't know this, but inside they're going, oh, what a thoughtful person. How nice is that? And if they happen to be, if you are a bloke, you're on a winner, because that one's even more impressive. But I have a pair of hotel slippers, and straight away I've already got myself 3 brownie points. I know I have, by just doing that. So now they're going to offer you a drink. Guys, don't say no, even if you don't drink it. Just say, I'll have a glass of water. Personally, I don't want most people's tap water because I filter all my water here. But do you know what? I don't say no. I just happen to leave it. And at the end, go, oh, I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to drink it. Okay. By saying no, you have subconsciously built what we call a confrontation block. These are very small things, but they're important. You then need to do the presentation. The presentation. Please don't make any assumptions. Young, old, ancient, it don't matter. You say to them, look, do you know what? I don't like doing this presentation. Personally, I could do it in my sleep, but I have to be compliant. And the company says there is no way I have to leave out any information, because later on you could go back to them and say, why didn't I know about X, Y, or Z? And there's another reason. You're going to show everyone, especially the last bit, the opportunity about earning money. I always say to them, some of this may not apply to you, but however, the reason I am showing you as well is I've learnt to my detriment that to assume makes an ass of you and me. And I see them nod. And I say, do you know what? I once had an 82-year-old lady that turned round and said, wow, my grandson is just looking to earn some money. He's come straight out of university. Can I give him your number? Because I bothered to show that about earning money. So do the presentation. Keep to what's on there. It's really important. And you will find that this stuff works. It really works. Now, you're then going to do a comparison. I'm not quite sure how you guys actually say the last page, but I usually come up with something like, now look, I've come here to offer you to save some money, reduce your bills, whatever. Let's give you a comparison. Let's see what an apples for apples thing can do. So hopefully you've got all your figures together for me. Yeah. And you go on there and you put the stuff in. And I'm always saying to them, this is a bespoke service. You could go up to head office direct, and speak to them. But the reality is, they're not here, and I'm here asking you far more questions than ever they would. And I may decide that something's not right for you. They don't expect that. They think you're there to sell sand to an Arab. All right. We're there to do the best thing we can for them. So questions are the answers. Ask questions, ask questions. Do bother to go and have a look at the socket, the open reach socket. What's there? It could be something out of the ark and it needs changing. Do you know what? That's the stuff you can't do through Zone. Unless you unless you ask them on their mobile with a video going on WhatsApp to video the socket and things like that. And that stuff can be done. It's just a bit more it's a bit more time laborious. So you need to ask the questions. You go through it. Now, hopefully you guys are following a system that you've got a super duper sort of sheet like I've got, where I ask them how much they're paying and then what it will come out from the computer. And I find that this is transparent. People love the idea that once you've come up with the figure, you take what UW is, yeah, and what they're currently paying, take one from the other, and you've got an annual saving. Please note the word annual. I don't work on monthly. I'll tell you why. When you do it annual, you won't believe how much difference. If somebody thinks they're only saving 15 quid a month, doesn't sound much, does it? But when you then apply that over a year, it's a lot more. So I'm finding that many people, it's something like £800-900 a year saving. That's significant. I do say this to them. How do I close it? I say, look, your bills are your bills at the moment. Unfortunately, nothing you can do about them. But with this, I'm about to show you now, look, this is better quality. And I've shown you all the Which articles and everything else on a simpler billing platform that's going to make life much simpler. And I use my phone to show them how I can access all those bills going back 20 odd years. And I say now, instead of being overcharged, as you can see here, by £863 a year, which sadly you are, that's money that is going to be reduced. And do you know what? You're not paying tax and insurance on this. That's worth 35% more. As I said to you when I made the appointment, can you really, really want to let that money go? And I find that that will be the thing that will often close the deal. That will make the difference. And then you emphasize to them, look, I'm not a faceless person in some country that you haven't got a clue, someone that you'll never speak to ever again. I'm a real human being. We've met. Now you've got someone to ask questions that's going to help you. I personally, when they're fairly close, I'm not on about going hundreds of miles, but the elderly, I will do things like go back, I'll set up the router, I will do their cashback card, get that up and running, I'll get the pack codes. Do you know what? There's no other company does this stuff at all. They just don't. This is 6-star customer service. And ladies and gentlemen, we are the people that do that. We have value. We are lovely people. We are not people that are running around like headless chickens. We're offering a service that is a little bit upfront, but if you want to keep those customers like me for 15, 20 years or so, do you know what? This is the way that you do it. Because can I say to you, you cannot keep 700 customers if you don't bother to do a little bit more than everybody else is doing. And those 700 customers have given me hundreds of partners. They have helped me build a massive business to 25,000 group customers. That's huge. It's enormous. And it's bothering to do this stuff. Now, what else have you got to bother to do? Well, let's say you've got the deal. Okay, excellent. Please make sure that what you do is ask them to go to their phone straight away. You're going to make sure that they check out the email, that they click on the link and it will download the app. That's good. Get the app on the phone so you can show them around the app. Then you're going to bother to show them the email that's got their order. And at the bottom, you don't have to be clever to do this. It tells them the time frame of the switching of the services. read exactly what's on that email. Then they can't say they didn't know. Believe me, customers can have you hung, drawn, and quartered. They do. I've actually had somebody nearly a year later say to me they didn't know it was an 18-month contract. And I've turned around and said, that is just not true. Because with everybody, I get them to look at their email and say, there's the order, and it's written twice, 18 months. Yeah. This way, what you're doing is covering your back, but you're also setting the scene for duplication. This means you haven't got to be a clever so-and-so. It means you're just doing what everyone does. It means a new person can easily say to the person, have a look at your email, we get a copy of it, and read what's on there. And it's the usual thing, isn't it? SIM cards are dispatched between 2 and 5 days, as with cashback cards. Broadband up to 21 days, worst case scenario. I've had somebody actually be connected in 3 days, but tell them the worst. Under promise, over deliver. Got that? Under promise, over deliver. Really important. And then energy is now so simple, it's not true. It's 2 to 5 days. And you can show them on their Clubhouse where they can enter the digital reads. If they're smart meters, they haven't even got to give an opening reading because it's already being done for them. Okay. So there's something that you do straight away. Now what do you do? On your, in fact, I'll share the screen. Let's share and show you. Bear with me. Let's go to my partner portal. There's the dashboard. If I go to my business and if I go to customer order status, can you all see this, guys? Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Now, all these here are people that you can see what it is they're actually reassigning contracts. That's why they're labelled. Let me show you one I'm just doing. Here we go. Here we are. This is a gentleman here. Oh, got to be careful not show you the name. Sorry. Here we go. So we're talking electric, gas, full fibre. There is actually mobile. There's a glitch on the system, ladies and gentlemen. It's not mentioning mobiles. Don't know why. Keep on top of it. Yeah. So it tells you every step of the way. So here we are. This one, electric's live, all done. And then the full fibre is going to happen on the 26th. It's now telling us when the equipment is being sent out. Completion due 29th. There we are. All there. I've got another one here. There we are. Gas, electric, boiler, home cover, phone fibre. There we are. It's all there. So you don't have to keep, but just glance, because I mean, I've got loads, but just keep glancing and making sure that you're doing the do. All right. That stuff, I would say to you, is pretty important. Now, the other side of it is the partner side. Somebody may have shown an interest and said, both. Now, it may be too much in one go that they sign up. And a lot of people want to try before they buy the partner position. Yeah, I've got loads of those. Don't get me wrong, some people come straight in. Yeah. But the ones that want to sort of like check it all out before it actually happens is like, well, this is the close that I use. I say, let's get the services transferred. You see how good this is, and then we'll talk again. And in the meantime, what I do is I send them UW stories, a little bit of extra. I send UW stories for absolutely everybody. Send UW stories. Yeah. Then what you can do is you can add them to a broadcast list on your WhatsApp group. Now, I've learned a few hard things. Lisa Ware is not very modern. She runs a paper diary. So I'm learning things the hard way. But a broadcast list is where you can add somebody that's your customer. But here's the trick. When you're with them, this is something I do automatically. I say, look, I'm going to put you in your phone. All right. And then you know you've got me. You can't lose me, even though I give them a magnetic business card. But there's a reason I'm doing that, because what I've learned is for the broadcast list to work, they have to have you in their phone as a contact. Eh? Have you got that? Now, a broadcast list, when you send a message, it could go to hundreds of people, which it does for me. It goes to hundreds, but it goes individually. It's as if you're writing to them and they don't know that it's going to everybody else. And when they reply back, and it's as if they're individually replying to you. It's absolutely fabulous. So I sent out a really nice little message on Saturday. Friday, everybody aware? Friday, what happened Friday? Price cap dropped, didn't it? Went down. Major panic with the public. All right. Now they're all panicking. Oh, am I on the best deal? I'll happily send out what I sent out to mine. I sent it out within 15 minutes. 15 minutes. I got some thumbs. I got some hearts. I got some questions. But the best thing I got was down the road in the village, somebody that I signed up, a family, who had endless problems with switching from Sky to us. We couldn't have had a worse OpenReach engineer, did everything wrong. And they went the whole of December right through the Christmas period without proper broadband. Couldn't watch their TV, anything. Can I tell you, if it wasn't for me keeping in touch all the time, that wouldn't be. But I'm telling you, I have SH1T happened to me as well. And this was big. And this was not UW. This was an actual OpenReach engineer. It got resolved. I stuck with it. It was my communication, and they're stone, by the way, they are truly deaf. He sign writes. So I have to do video WhatsApps. Otherwise, I can't ring him. I can type, but we do that because he lip reads. If it wasn't for my effort, that possibly could have gone AWOL. It didn't. I sent a broadcast on Saturday. What I got back from the gentleman was, Lisa, I've belonged to a new club called the Bournemouth Deaf Club. And he said, this thing about getting 125, 150 for referrals, this sounds rather good. So we went straight onto a little video call and I rang him and I said, yeah, it is. I said, it's perfect for this. I said, nobody's got to put their hand in their pocket. And I said, every time you just refer a name and a number to me, Paul, I'm going to call them. I absolutely promise to look after them in the same beautiful way I have for you guys. And I joked and I said, and hopefully there won't be the same cock-ups that happened with OpenReach. He laughed. And I said, but we'll get together after the bank holiday and we'll get this sorted. I said, because every referral you give me, your Bournemouth Deaf Club can receive 125 or 150. I'm literally sharing my commission. So guys, I'm just sharing with you what I call backup stuff that makes the difference. It work, the consolidation of the appointment, all these other little bits, they are absolutely vital. It is what will give you quality customers that will stay for years. They'll become your best referrers. They might even become your best partners. I hope that was helpful. Now look, next week, Tuesday is the 3rd of June. It is my wedding anniversary and I'm not here. I'm in Guernsey and I am switching off. I have had somebody offer, I'm going to have a chat with them, so it might come on and I'll make them host to deliver a coaching so that there's continuity. If that doesn't happen, then I will let everybody know. But I intend to have a holiday. So if you've been listening, I'm Lisa Ware and I hope it's been useful. And if not, I will still be seeing you the following week. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.